Alright, back into Moxfield again. I'm going to show you another deck. Where'd it go? There, yeah, there it is. There we go. This deck, Sarulf Meter, Big Bad Wolf. I can't get enough of this guy. So this deck, I want to gush about it, because you might look at it, you might read this list I'm about to show, you might go, hey, wow, that doesn't win a whole lot. I don't care. I do not care if this deck wins or loses. So what do we got here? Well, first of all, we have this guy, Sarulf Realmleader. Golgari +1. Whenever a permanent opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Sarulf. So that's the first thing people are going to look at and see when they see this card from across the table. Your things die, he gets bigger. Then the next thing, and the one that gets people most terrified, at the beginning of your upkeep, if Sarulf has one or more +1/+1 counters on it, you may remove all of those counters. All of the counters. So everything he's gotten from things dying, he removes them. If you do, exile each other non-land permanent with mana value less than or equal to the number of counters removed this way. So, say over the course of a round, if 10 things hit the graveyard from the battlefield, that's 10 counters onto Sarulf. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you can remove those 10 counters and exile everything that's not Sarulf or land. That's 10 mana or less. I think at that point, the only thing would be Eldrazi. So, just an example. Every time I have pulled out this deck, the few times I've been able to play it, my opponents have entered panic mode before we even sit down and shuffle. That is where this card is at. That is what this does to people. Every time I play this card, this deck around this card, I am swarmed, everyone gangs up on me, and then I either play my butt off and maybe squeak out a win, or more often than not, I lose, but they get a game they could talk about. So what do we actually got? I'm going to disable tags here because they're not really well set up. So we got a lot of things that just... How do we do this? Enable tags? Well, I guess we're doing it this way. I should have really set this up a lot better for this. But whatever, I'll make it work. So first things first, I got a bunch of cards that can actually be used to buff Sarulf or protect him in some way. Hardened Scales to increase the number of counters he gets a little bit faster, as well as your Corpse Jack Menace to do the same thing. I got Fractal Harness. Unexpected Fangs to put another counter and give him lifelink. I got Overprotect for one, like a temporary Overprotect gift. No, not Gift to the Viper. Where'd it go? Is it under protection? Yeah. We do have Swift Boots in here. We got a little bit of the temporary protection, but not much. Mostly, though, we're wanting to buff him up, make him even more dangerous. We got Cultist of the Absolute, which can give him flying and death touch, but we have another ward cost to make people really think about targeting, but we have to start sacrificing creatures, which is not great if we're behind. But it does give him flying and evasion. So we got a bunch of ways to buff Sarulf or any of our other creatures. Uh, Thundering Nightmare is another one. We got a little bit of draw. Got Harvester of Souls and Morbid Opportunist as good ways to draw, and then we got a Packmate. I figured I'd put this in here even because it's thematic, but not because it's good. So what you want to do is you want to foretell this, wipe with Sarulf, and then play it on the next turn, or play it that turn. We got a Fog, Spore Frog, a bunch of fogs here. Moon Mist, because we do have a wolf on the board. And then we got some land fetch here. Because, again, we're going to be potentially wiping our own board, so it'd be better to go look for lands than to get mana dorks or mana rocks on board. So we're going to be fetching for lands. Got a Charm here because why not? Collective Resistance to either Hexproof or Destroy things. I got Autumn's Veil and Savage Summoning just to be able to make sure Sarulf even hits the board, as well as Swiftfoot Boots for the haste so you can start swinging immediately. Got a few ways to get him back if he dies. Just by putting him in the graveyard instead of the command zone. Obviously, once we've exhausted these, we're better off putting him in the command zone. So that gets around the commander tax. And then we have removal. This deck is heavy on removal. Because that is our main way of buffing Sarulf. Not these over here with the removal. We got Blighted Fence, our talking about sacrifice creature Bushwhack, make him fight a creature or search for land. Pick your poiser to make people sacrifice things. And we get to, for 1 mana, we get to just pick artifact, enchantment, or a creature with flying. Each opponent sacrifices one of those. Collective Resistance. Alright, go that. Extract the Confession. It's another Edict kind of thing. There's that Charm. Oh, okay, it's gonna, because it's in different places. Fighting Outland Liberator. So we're gonna have to track day and night for the rest of the game. But this is a werewolf that we can sacrifice to destroy things, or we can have it hopefully have it flip and start destroying things when it attacks. And it also counts towards Moon Mist over wherever it went. This Shieldred's Edict, Big Game Hunter, destroy something when it enters, Pernicious Deed. Actually had this on the board, or in my hand one game, and it's another way to wipe the board without wiping Sarulf. You pay 2 into it, and that wipes a lot of your opponent's weenies and keeps Sarulf on the field. You don't want to do it for more than that unless you have like a way to get Sarulf back. Blood Curdle, destroy a creature and put a menace counter on Sarulf. Dirgebat is another way where we can mutate Sarulf into a flyer and kill something. Foundation Breaker, we evoke this to kill something. Arcfiend of Depravity is really good here. Really good. Because if you're up against someone who's playing a lot of creatures at once and they don't have a way to get rid of this, and this also becomes a removal magnet, so they're going to destroy this instead of Sarulf for a little bit, or both. Shrigmaw, more removal. Kogla for more fighting removal. Rottenmouth Viper, because why the heck not? Let's get people sacrificing things. A lot of things. A lot of things is going to ramp up, and hey, if you put the boots on it, it ramps itself even faster. And then Butcher of Malak here, because we're got ways to sacrifice our own things, and if people start killing our stuff, Butcher of Malak here kills their stuff faster and makes Sarulf bigger. A lot of this makes Sarulf bigger, which makes him a bigger threat. Then we got Then we got ways to sacrifice creatures, make tokens. We got another cloak to... Now this one, honestly, the main thing this is here for is to make Sarulf unblockable, but I don't like that it gives him Shroud. Whisper Silk Cloak creature can't be blocked and has Shroud. Insidious Fungus, destroy things. Don't try to elk, search your land. Why these are untagged, I don't know. Guardian Augmenter, I played this in a game recently, and it helped Sarulf survive just a little bit longer. Because my opponent's probably looking for ways to get rid of him. So they cast a removal spell. I play Guardian Augmenter, and their removal spell whiffs. Because now commanders I control have hexproof and can be targeted. And then Green Dragon, which lets you swing in with a whole bunch of your creatures. And anything that was dealt damage gets destroyed. Awesome. And then Bower Passage. Because I'm expecting to go up against flyers. And if they can swing over me, then why the heck not? Why can't I just swing under them? You know? And then some more fog and more removal. And then, yeah, more fighting. Or, no. Oh, a lure effect. I forgot there was a lure effect. Hey, if you're playing a big creature, consider having a lure effect so you can place it on a smaller creature. Swing in with both the smaller creature and your big creature, and you knock someone out of the game. And then there's just a lot more fun like that. I got a Titanoth Rex in here to give Sarulf Trample. I got a Hunter's Talent to fight something and then give things Trample and then draw cards. And then another Insist to make sure that Sarulf hits the board. Oh, and then a Lantern so that when he attacks, I do stuff. Now, like, this deck does a lot of things, and again, it's not likely to win. I don't care if it wins. The last few times I've played this deck, just seeing my opponents panic and try to deal with Sarulf Realm Eater, that was all I needed. Alright, I think that's enough.